You're listening to The Chris Carlisle Show, hosted by me, Chris Carlisle. And welcome to the live presentation of The Chris Carlisle Show on Spreaker and on my Facebook page. If you're one of my Facebook friends, I've posted a link to hear the show live now. And if you missed the live stream, you can still listen on Spreaker, Google Podcasts, iHeart, Spotify, and Podchaser. The other day I saw where regular gas was at $4.69 at one station and at $4.79 at another one. I mostly ran errands yesterday and today. And by the way, it took $40 to fill the gas tank up in my car. I have a Mazda CX-30. Although it takes you about at least an hour to fill up your, to charge up your cell phone, so I have no plans on getting an electric car if you're wondering about that. Anyway, coming up, there was another story I found in the book, Read, Laugh, Repeat, 101 Laugh Out Loud Stories, part of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series written by Amy Newmark. So stay tuned. That song, by the way, is called Two-Step Pen. Now here's a story I found in the book, Read, Laugh, Repeat, 101 Laugh Out Loud Stories as part of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. It was written by a lady named Tori Michelle Neal. She wrote a story about meeting a man named Martin at a neighbor's house. She said when she met Martin, she noticed that his clothes weren't coordinated well and that he stuttered when he spoke. So noticing this, and she kind of thought that he might be a little, mentally challenged. So she also talked about she was in the process of moving, and she was trying to install some blinds in her new house, and her screwdriver wasn't getting the job done. So she went back over to her friend's house, the friend where she had met Martin at, and asked if her husband had a screwdriver that she could borrow. The friend told her husband wasn't home, but she said that Martin might have one, and he did. He not only had a screwdriver, he had a cordless drill, and he even offered to drive Tori over to her house to install the blinds for her. And Tori was a little nervous about riding with him, not sure if he could drive, but they got over there, and Martin proceeded to install all of the blinds. And Tori noticed something, that when Martin had his back to her, he didn't stutter. She then figured out that Martin wasn't mentally challenged. In fact, Martin later became her husband. She found out that he stuttered when he met her because he was nervous because he had never seen somebody as pretty as she was. And she goes on to say that they've been married for 5 years now, and she found out that Martin was colorblind, which is why his clothes were coordinated. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, coming up, a look at what happened over the past few days in history. I went and looked at an apartment today. Anyway, now look back at years past. On June 12th, 1987, President Ronald Reagan challenged Soviet leader Mikhail-Gorbachev to tear down the Berlin Wall during a speech in West Berlin. After Germany's defeat at the end of World War II, the capital city of Berlin was split, with the Americans, British, and the French controlling the western region, and the Soviets controlling the eastern region. The western part of Germany later became the Federal Republic of Germany, or just West Germany, while the eastern part, controlled by the Soviets, became the German Democratic Republic, or East Germany, and became communist. The border of the two countries was closed in 1952, and by the next year, 1953, the East Germans were prosecuted if they left their country without permission. The Berlin Wall was erected in August of 1961 by the East German government to keep its citizens from escaping to the West. On June 4th, 1777, the Stars and Stripes were adopted by the Continental Congress as the flag of the newly independent United States. And the holiday since 1949, when it was received a designation from Congress, has been known as Flag Day, although the first Flag Day was celebrated on June 14th, 1877, for the centennial of the adoption of the Stars and Stripes. And on this day in history, back in 1215 that is, King John of England signed the Magna-Carta, also known as the Great Charter. It was an agreement between the king and his barons, where the king would respect feudal rights and privileges, uphold the freedom of the church, and maintain the nation's laws. That was in 1215, by the way. Next, look at horoscopes. Alright, now look at horoscopes if you're into that sort of thing. I'm really not. For Aries, it says assessments of character can't be extrapolated from situations where people are dealing with superiors. Anyone can be nice to someone with authority. The true self is revealed in how people treat those who can't help them. That's good advice. Well, I guess it is. Anyway, Taurus, you may very well be the only one in the room who is giving quality attention where it's needed, but others will catch on because your good energy is contagious. Gemini, you keep trying to find the best in everything, and there is a lot to weed through on your way to today, but it's there. Keep going until you get to the Tootsie Pop in the middle. Cancer, if you find yourself questioning everything your leader does, you're following the wrong person. Blind faith is not your style. You only do what makes sense to you. Leo says you're all about work, which you approach humble. You may in fact be modest to a fault. Seize your moments to shine, otherwise unqualified contenders will step in and leave people underserved. Virgo, it says you'll do something to enhance another person's experience, ease their suffering, or help them feel less alone in the world. Even just being there for someone is a balm to the soul. Libra, it says there's an endless supply of words that could be said, but very little of it should be said. Those who only speak words of truth, necessary, and kindness do not speak often, and yet they say so much. Scorpio, my sign, it says the archer of the zodiac prefers to stay on target, but sometimes drifting is good for you. It allows you to see options you wouldn't have known about had you stuck to a predetermined course. Sagittarius, there you're going for yes, the word no can be a bigger blessing. Steering you quickly to a better fit and what will ultimately prove to do the highest good for the most people. Capricorn, those who have something to offer you won't seem to be trying too hard, and over-eagerness isn't always a bad sign. Sometimes it just means people don't yet know the value of their gifts. And Aquarius says if you want something too much, your wanting can actually push it further away from you. Try neutrality, or if that don't work, pretend you have it already and love it so. And Pisces, you have something to share, and there will be many takers. Plan accordingly. What portion can you give to each person, knowing you'll give it several times? Now look at entertainment news. On television, the series Becoming Elizabeth about Queen Elizabeth I premiered on Stars on Sunday. A reunion of the 1990s series Martin debuted on BET+. The special called Martin the Reunion, with stars Martin Lawrence, Tisha Campbell, Tina Arnold, and Carly Anthony Payne, revisit the series, which also the special also includes a tribute to the late actor Thomas Michael Ford. The Robertsons of Duck Dynasty fame are back with the 10-part series debuting Sunday on the Fox Nation streaming service. The series, called Duck Family Treasure, has Jace Robertson and his brother Jep searching for buried treasure. They will be joined by their wives Missy and Jessica, as well as other family members, including their uncle Cy Robertson. New movies out are Good Luck to You, Leo Grande, which debuts Friday on Hulu. Cha-Cha Real Smooth debuts on Apple Plus, also on Friday. On Netflix, the documentary Halftime, which is about Jennifer Lopez's halftime performance at the Super Bowl back in 2020, and the sci-fi thriller Spiderhead debuts Friday on Netflix. In music, there's some music being streamed by such legends as the Beach Boys and Frank Zappa. Sounds of Summer, the very best of the Beach Boys, which was first released in 2003, is streaming with updated songs and audio quality. Zappa Eerie is a new six that's a mouthful, 6-disc box digital collection that has more than 7 hours of unreleased material, including a trio of live shows that were recorded between 1974 and 1976. And the Storm Before the Calm, the latest album from Alanis Morissette, will be released on Friday. The album features guided meditations, whatever that is, co-written with Dave Harrington. Next, to look at birthdays.
Happy birthday Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy
All right, Facebook friends with birthdays coming up are Will and Cynthia. In the news, the village of Salado has been designated by the state of Texas as a music-friendly community, joining such Texas cities like Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, and San Antonio. The Bell County Commissioners Court re-implemented its burn ban on Monday, as temperatures are expected to be between 97 and 100 degrees. Some high school students in Colorado came to the aid of a sixth grader when nobody signed the young man's yearbook. The young man, who was from Westminster, was depressed because no one signed his yearbook, and he wrote a note to himself saying that he hoped he would make more friends. His mother was heartbroken when she saw it, and she posted a photo of his note to a Facebook group for friends of parents at the school. Some of the parents showed their kids, which hatched, and 3 of them hatched a plan to round up some of their friends, and they headed to the boy's school. After they found him, they began writing his book, and when they were done, the pages had over 100 entries. And then everyone in the young man's own class started signing the yearbook. A woman in North Carolina recently finished competing in marathons in all 50 states. The impressive thing is that the woman has myotrophic lateral sclerosis. She was diagnosed with it in 2014. ALS is also known as Lou Gehrig's disease because the Baseball Hall of Famer was one of the first people known to have the condition. In sports, the University of Maryland-Baylor announced on Tuesday that the playing field at Crusader Stadium will be named after former head football coach Pete Fredenberg, who retired in January after leading the Crusaders to literally building the program from nothing and eventually leading them to 2 national championships. The weather is going to be hot. Anyway, today's Bible verse says, from Galatians 6:9, and let us not be weary in well doing, for in due reason we shall reap if we faint not. Thank you for listening. Leave a like and review, and I'll be for those of you on my Facebook, I'll be posting links to the show if you missed it live. Hi, I'm Chris, and thank you for listening to my podcast, The Chris Carlisle Show. The Chris Carlisle Show is available on Spreaker. Please leave a like and a review, and also a follow. It's also available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeart, Podchaser, and Podcast Addict. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.